Once upon a time, back many years ago, I've done many of the jobs in testing that people are doing now, particularly the more difficult high-end jobs that are really between technology and management. I was a test manager. I remember being a test manager for one company, and I had quite a large development team, probably 25, 30 developers, team of about 6 or 7 testers, good ratio of testers to developers. But there was a business and analysis group, and they were always disconnected in that they were producing specification documents, but they weren't really talking to the development team, and they certainly weren't talking to the testing team. The people they were talking to was the CEO. This individual was quite separated from the technology that was being built by the development team. And it was always a problem around production release time, always a problem. We would be going through regression test cycles. We would be having developers coming over, they're chasing up defect reports on individual functions that we were testing. And then every so often, the CEO would walk in. How are we doing on the testing? It used to give me a heart attack. You have to respect he's the CEO. And I'd sit there and I'd say to him, I need a day or so to put together the reports. A day or two to a CEO is an unreasonable amount of time because they want everything right now. I remember back then wishing I'd have had a way to be able to pull together all of the test data that was coming out of various places in the development. The unit tests, the regression tests. We had a handful of automated tests in early stage Selenium. But the stock reports are really hard to understand. Unless you're one of the practitioners that's working inside that group, it's like, they don't mean anything. I do remember once trying to present some Selenium stock reports to the CEO and the senior leads of the company, and the ones that didn't fall asleep got quite angry. What the hell am I looking at? Was the typical response that I was getting. It was always around trying to convert that into something people could meaningfully use to make decisions. And that was really the beginning of Calliope Pro. I remember when Mark and I started Sprite Cloud, one of the questions that kept coming back to us was, what are you guys doing? Why are we paying you? We evolved a methodology whereby we could actually report the results of the day, the activities of the day, we could pull it together, but it was really manual. But it was a good manual process. We've evolved a way to communicate high-level issues, what we did, what we were going to do, anything noteworthy, into a one-page summary that a project manager could read. But really, what everybody wants is just hard numbers, right? How many tests are done? How many tests are green? How many tests are red? How am I looking for my production releases? We had a choice in the early stages of Calliope. Do we just stick with our own test formats, or do we open it up? And at the time, we did something that was completely unheard of. We decided, right, we're not just going to present our reports. We'll present everybody else's reports. It's really something in open source software, inclusivity of reporting, of data, stakeholders, companies. We decided that there was always going to be a next big thing in a testing framework, in a tech stack. There was always going to be people's personal favorites. And for those of you who have talked to a development lead or are a development lead, there is no way you're going to convince a development lead to give up his favorite shiny tech stack. No way, no how. In fact, it's a deal breaker, literally. We've been in business meetings and I've seen firsthand if someone says, well, in order to use our technology, you've got to give up this technology. Right, well, that's the end of the conversation. Thank you very much, pay for your coffee, off you go. What we decided to do was really allow other reports to be imported into Calliope Pro so that we could capture the entire collective experience of what's happening with software health. It's brilliant. Now, when I'm doing demos, for instance, I can take a pick of any one of 25 or 30 formats, a list that is continually growing with each production release that we do, that really gives the overall scope of what's going on with software testing. And in fact, the overall message of what's going on with your software health. It's quite brilliant, really. I do say so, even if I am a managing director of the company. Right. Well, I would love to hear some experiences. If there are any of you that would like to write in and tell us how you are doing with your software development or the problems that you're facing, please do so. We'd love to hear from people. Thanks again.